Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually wondered what goes into making a truly spine-tingling, edge-of-your-seat superhero movie trailer? What's that secret formula that literally makes the hairs on your arms stand up when you're sitting in the theater? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're deconstructing the perfect 3-minute superhero trailer prompt. We're looking specifically at a really brilliant concept piece called Spider-Man New Day, and we're going to break down the anatomy of this prompt literally second by second. We want to see exactly how it manipulates tension, emotion, and action to create a full-blown Hollywood-level masterpiece, all using nothing but precisely chosen words.
A new day brings new challenges, a new enemy, a new battle. Okay, just close your eyes for a second. Use the theater of your mind here. Can you see that dark, atmospheric, totally cinematic vibe? Can you hear that booming, dramatic narration echoing over a hyper-realistic city skyline? That quote right there, it serves as the absolute perfect cold open hook. It immediately sets the stakes, and it does it without showing us a single explosion. It tells us the world has changed, peace is out the window, and our hero is about to face something completely unprecedented. It absolutely commands your attention from the very first syllable.
So, to really understand how this text prompt works so effectively, we're taking a sort of director's commentary approach. This pacing timeline right here maps out our entire 3-minute trailer. And notice how it's masterfully engineered to just constantly escalate the momentum. We start right at 0 seconds with some emotional grounding, then kick off the action at 30 seconds. By 60 seconds, we launch into this blistering montage, raise the stakes big time at 105 seconds, blow the roof off with an epic battle at 135 seconds, and then finally resolve with a massive, powerful climax at 165 seconds. This structure, it's basically the hidden heartbeat of pretty much every blockbuster you've ever loved. Let's walk through it chronologically.
The really crucial element here is how it all begins. At 0 seconds, we aren't just thrown straight into chaos or action. Instead, we're setting the emotional stage. The prompt specifically asks for emotional scenes of our young masked hero walking all alone through a busy, realistic city. He's struggling. He's balancing college, his job, and that crushing, heavy responsibility of being a hero after losing everything. Accompanied by this swelling, emotional, orchestral music and gorgeous cinematic lighting, this slow pacing does something so vital. It grounds us. It makes us genuinely care about the actual human behind the mask way before we ever see him throw a punch or swing from a single web.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of contrast in storytelling. We go from that calm, solitary walk set to sweeping music, straight into the 30-second mark, and boom, the action begins. Massive explosions literally rock the city. A mysterious new villain suddenly drops in, unleashing advanced tech and these powerful drones aggressively attacking innocent civilians. Instantly, our hero is swinging between skyscrapers at breakneck speeds, dodging missiles, and pulling off these breathtaking aerial stunts while rescuing people from collapsing buildings. This stark juxtaposition acts as the inciting incident. It's totally designed to rip the viewer right out of their comfort zone and basically glue their eyes to the screen.
Then, right at the 60-second mark, the prompt just hits the accelerator with a wildly intense action montage. Picture this, happening in rapid succession. A high-speed city street chase, a daring helicopter rescue that slams right into a devastating train crash sequence, brutal rooftop battles with shattered glass raining down everywhere, slow-motion flips, followed instantly by desperate web-swinging through super-narrow alleyways, all culminating in frantic hand-to-hand combat. The prompt explicitly calls for realistic visual effects and Hollywood blockbuster quality. It's a rapid-cut visual barrage meant to leave the audience completely breathless, showing off the sheer scale and spectacle of the film in just a few adrenaline-fueled seconds.
Now, what's really interesting about this part is how it perfectly captures a classic superhero trope, overwhelming odds. At 1 minute and 45 seconds, so 105 seconds into our timeline, the villain finally reveals their master citywide attack plan. Giant energy storms aggressively form above the skyline. Citizens are panicking in the streets while emergency vehicles flood these totally chaotic intersections. Our hero is pushed to the absolute brink. He's struggling against these insane, overwhelming odds, injured but fiercely determined. So why does the villain wait until this exact moment in the trailer to reveal this? Well, structurally, this is the all is lost beat. It raises the stakes to their absolute maximum, right before the final showdown.
Which brings us to the 135-second mark, the epic final battle. The skies aren't just dark now. They are filled with violent thunderstorms and jagged lightning. Our hero isn't just fighting one bad guy. He's fighting multiple enemies at once while swinging through a literal tempest. We've got massive destruction, dramatic rescues, emotional sacrifices, and, let's be honest here, because no true superhero trailer is ever complete without it, a massive, highly detailed CGI collapsing bridge.
The prompt specifically demands ultra-detailed environments and grand cinematic camera movements here, ensuring this battle feels totally grandiose, mythic, and just way larger than life.
So how in the world do we resolve all this incredible tension? Well, at 165 seconds, we hit the powerful climax, and it happens in 3 distinct, highly visual steps. First, the hero makes one final, absolutely desperate leap right through the raging storm. Second, the villain's apocalyptic weapon is stopped mere moments before total disaster. And third, the payoff. We get a heroic pose overlooking a beautiful sunrise skyline accompanied by soaring, really hopeful music. Look at how masterfully the prompt shifts the emotional tone right here. We've gone from suffocating, overwhelming odds and dark thunderstorms right back to the light. The city is saved, and the audience is left with this profound sense of triumph.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Listen to how this voiceover builds the overarching narrative. When darkness threatens the city, one hero must rise above fear and become the symbol of hope. This summer, a legend returns. This isn't just cool-sounding dialogue, right? It's the vital narrative glue. It takes that massive 3-minute visual arc, from the quiet emotional opening to the terrifying overwhelming odds, and finally to the hopeful sunrise, and synthesizes the whole shebang into a single iconic hook. It promises the audience a complete, incredibly satisfying emotional journey, packaging all that crazy action into a meaningful story about rising above fear.
Now, pulling the strings behind all of this action and emotion is what we can call the cinematic style blueprint. The prompt wraps up with a barrage of very specific modifiers. Ultra-realistic, Hollywood movie trailer, IMAX quality, 4K resolution, cinematic color grading, realistic physics, and professional film production. Look, these aren't just thrown in casually for flavor. In the world of visual concept creation, these are highly precise technical instructions. They are the strict parameters that guarantee the final conceptual output doesn't just look like some amateur fan project. Instead, it authentically mimics that heavy, polished, multi-million-dollar aesthetic of a major studio release. It dictates the actual texture of the visual world.
Which leads us to a truly fascinating conclusion. How does a simple 300-word text prompt evoke the exact same visceral reaction as a multi-million-dollar Hollywood trailer? It really comes down to the immense power of structured storytelling and precise pacing. By mapping out the emotional highs and lows, pairing them with incredibly specific visual instructions, and escalating the stakes on a rigid timeline, mere text can trigger the theater of your mind to screen a blockbuster hit before it's even filmed. It's wild! So I'll leave you with this to ponder. If you were given a blank page right now, taking everything we've learned today about structure, stakes, and style, what would your ultimate 3-minute trailer prompt look like?